Welcome, everyone. This is the Telarus Tuesday call for March 6th, 2018. Telarus is in its second week of President's Club events. Last week in Costa Rica for qualifying 2017 carrier sales partners, and coming up this weekend for qualifying 2017 Telarus partners in Cancun. We want to express our sincere congratulations to all of these high-achieving carrier sales and Telarus partners, and to our sponsoring suppliers. What a tremendous privilege it is for Telarus and carrier sales to help honor your success. Thank you, and we hope you enjoy President's Club. Where will we be going next year for President's Club? Stay tuned to these Telarus Tuesday calls for the announcement. It's coming very soon. We invite you to log into our video feed for all of today's exciting information and to submit questions and comments for our presenters today via our chat window, all at Telarus.com/start. I am Doug Miller, and this month we'll be discussing mobility and the outstanding opportunities available to Telarus partners in this exciting space. Beginning next week, you'll get to know Tiffany Wolf, Telarus VP of Operations for Mobility. She's traveling today, so it's my honor to welcome our friends today from both Data2Go Wireless and TeraNova Global for an introduction and discussion about mobility opportunities and each of these suppliers' offerings in the market. Telarus has a powerful specialty team designed around mobility and wireless, and today we'll help you understand exactly how Telarus and our suppliers can make mobility an integral part of your business portfolio. We'll welcome Data2Go Wireless and TeraNova Global to our call. Those are coming up in just minutes. We'll also be joined today by Robert Brown from YipTel to tell you about some very important training coming up this Thursday morning. Big news and great learnings from YipTel. If you happen to miss last week's presentations here on the Telarus Tuesday call, we introduced you to new Telarus supplier Alibaba Cloud, a worldwide provider of security, database services, storage, and networking, and Alibaba Cloud's Elastic Compute Service to power cloud applications and achieve faster results with low latency for elastic and flexible resource utilization. This is a huge deal for Telarus partners. We want you to get to know Alibaba Cloud. Last week, Craig Piatti from Alibaba Cloud joined us, and you can hear the launch call that we held last Thursday morning, March 1st. That recording is available now in your Telarus partner back office. You can't sell them anywhere else. Check it out and see what the buzz is all about. Alibaba Cloud with Telarus. Check out that recording. Also, last Tuesday here on the call, we held an exciting discussion with two of Telarus' powerful UC and contact center providers. First with Connect First, intentionally bringing together stability, reliability, functionality, and unmatched support to create a superior platform to help your customer build a world-class call center. And then we spoke with Clearview, revolutionary workforce performance optimization built by call centers for call centers, featuring unlimited data aggregation, actionable analytics, and enterprise-wide visibility. All of that on last week's Telarus Tuesday call. Definitely worth a listen. That recording is also available in your Telarus partner back office. Some exciting regional training and networking events to tell you about. Hope you'll join us. First, for our partners in Plano, Texas and Addison, Texas. Our exciting and tremendously popular Tech Talk events are coming to your town this Thursday, March 8th in Plano from 11:30 until 4 p.m. Central at Maggiano's, Little Italy. Please plan to join Telarus and Rackspace to learn how to create cloud opportunities for your customers. We're going to break down an opportunity from first discovery conversation all the way through to close to give you real-life knowledge on how to win with cloud and how to change the game for your customers. And then next Tuesday, March 13th in Addison, Texas, from 11 a.m. until 1 p.m. Central Time, we will be at Chamberlain's Fish Market Grill as Telarus and Effortless Office lead a very valuable discussion on cloud solutions. Learn how others are identifying and closing business with Effortless Cloud Solutions. Don't miss these two great Tech Talk events. And our Telarus Innovation Conferences are in full swing again this month, going strong, in top form, or if you prefer, burgeoning. And that is the first official appearance of that word on the Telarus Tuesday call. But I digress. The Telarus Innovation Conferences are immersive technology training experiences with workshops and case studies on security, SD-WAN, contact center, and much more. Take your business to the next level and network with the industry experts. We have scheduled 3 Telarus Innovation Conferences in March. Here's that schedule. In 2 weeks, on March 20th, we will be in both Orange County, California at the Balboa Bay Resort, hosted by Mr. Jay Littleford, and also that same day in Waterford, Connecticut at the Great Neck Country Club, hosted by Tina Franke. And then Tina and the team will travel to Philadelphia, PA on Thursday, March 22nd. They'll be at the Franklin Institute to meet with our Philly partners. These are outstanding opportunities designed to help you take full advantage of Telarus tools, resources, and support. You can register for these and for other great Telarus business building events. It's all at Telarus.com events. Well, as I mentioned earlier, it's my great pleasure to be joined today by our friend Robert Brown. Robert is the president of YipTel, leading with technologies designed to connect your clients to their customers and to enhance their productivity. YipTel's voice, video, and data connections take companies from good to great and from present to the future. Robert is scheduled to be here with an exciting update on YipTel and details of special training call being held this Thursday morning here on the Telarus Bridge. We have had some technical difficulties getting Robert on the call here this morning. Robert, are you out there? I don't know that we were able to get him officially on the call. Robert, if you're there, just shout out when you get a second, but we did want to make sure that everyone is aware of the Thursday training. It's coming up right here on the Telarus Bridge, 11 a.m. Eastern Time. Robert is going to spend some time talking about latest developments at YipTel and why this partnership is so important to Telarus partners. It's one that you need to know and one that maybe isn't known quite as well, but exciting things are going on there with that partnership, and we want you to know about it. So please plan to join us this Thursday morning. It begins at 11 a.m. Eastern right here on the Telarus Bridge. You will be glad that you got to know YipTel. Robert, sorry we couldn't get you on the call this morning. We hope to have you on again soon. Well, because we have so much information to present today on the call, we don't have a complete recap of training opportunities or featured spiffs, but we do want you to know where to find those. All of our live and recorded training opportunities are in your partner back office at agent.telarus.com, and our spiffs and promotions are all listed at promo.telarus.com. You really should check these out. There are some fantastic offerings listed there, and hey, if you're going to sell the service, you might as well make all of the commission and spiffs you can on that deal as well. So great opportunities. Check them out at those 2 websites. You will be glad you did. It is time for our main course on today's call. I'm just thrilled to be kicking off this month's discussions on mobility, wireless, and related opportunities, and highlight the outstanding resources available to our partners, both from our internal Telarus mobility experts, as well as from the premier array of Telarus suppliers specializing in helping you discover, analyze, and design solutions for your clients' mobility needs. And here's the key. Every one of your clients has those needs. Now, beginning next week, Telarus VP of Operations for Mobility, Tiffany Wolf, will be on our Telarus Tuesday call, but as she's away today, it's my great pleasure to kick off our weekly series of mobility discussions featuring some of the most knowledgeable experts in our industry on this topic. First up on today's call, I'm joined by our friend Robert Senator. Robert is president of Data2Go Wireless, connectivity for the Internet of Things. They offer total data coverage anytime, anywhere, via their nationwide carrier-agnostic network. Data2Go Wireless's Apogee Turnkey Cloud Mobile Virtual Network Enabler platform is your IoT solution with its intuitive, user-friendly invoice. Rob, welcome to the Telarus Tuesday call. It was great to talk with you earlier today. How are you doing?
I'm doing excellent. Thank you very much for the kind intro, Doug. I appreciate it. as an icebreaker, I'd like to mention the next picture that I send you for this is going to be one with a smile, as opposed to that mug that you put up there.
Striking fear into the hearts of partners everywhere. It's Rob Senator.
Excellent, excellent. So thanks, everybody. Again, thanks, Doug and Steph, for setting this up. I really appreciate the opportunity to be on the call with everybody today. What I'd like to do is kind of set the stage on this first slide. I know we're talking about the LTE failover and business continuity solution, but again, to set the stage, as you said, Doug, we basically are set up for the Internet of Things. So we're going to kind of use the college reference here, if we may. Today we're going to talk about the 101 level class, the things that are low-hanging fruit that's going to be the easiest mobility sale from a data perspective into your customer base, which is absolutely a failover solution or a business continuity solution as a backup to the customer's primary circuit. Just so everybody knows, there are 201, 301 level classes where we can talk more about primary connect, talk more about WAN optimization, talk more about our platform and how it's integrated with the 4 carriers. But for time's sake today, we have my usual slide deck is 32 slides for this, but we've narrowed it down to about 7 slides today. So we're going to run through it fast, but I also invite everybody to either reach out to mobility@telarus.com with questions or to reach out to me directly, and I'd love to have a continued conversation with everybody if they're open to it. So to go to the next slide, let's talk a little bit about who we are, Data2Go Wireless. Doug, you did an excellent job in telling everybody who we are, but I think if we want to kind of narrow it down, we have a purpose-built cloud platform for the Internet of Things designed for machines and nothing but machines. A few years ago, I had this idea of putting together a platform for data-only devices, and everything that I saw in the marketplace was built based upon handsets and based upon phones. As everybody on the call knows today, the penetration on the voice market is ridiculous, where it's basically one carrier taking from another. But IoT is a different ballgame. We have people that are dreaming up applications and putting solutions together for the IoT world that are just coming to life every day. So the growth potential is unlimited, basically, in this side of the market. That's why we put together our platform from the ground up, talking about data-only devices. And we also thought that the carrier-agnostic approach was extremely important, more important than it is on mobile devices. Doug, if you and I are driving on the highway and we're on our mobile phones and we drop a call, we know we're both moving. We're going to connect to a tower. In the next 30 seconds, we're going to be able to call each other back. But as far as fixed wireless is concerned, those devices are fixed. They're never moving. So we always have to have the right carrier the first time in order for our end user, our customer, to have a good experience. So what we've done is we've built, we are a service provider, built that platform focusing on IoT, M2M, and wireless network services. So our platform is a service, we call it PaaS, that provides wireless connectivity and enables customers and the agent channel to connect, manage, and build via our platform. Steph, could we flip the slide, please? Thank you. So the next slide, everybody, is really just showing the low areas of hanging fruit, okay? What are the businesses out there and what are the applications out there that you really have to have an always-on internet connection, otherwise you're doing damage to a business. So the first one are the payment transactions. Because of how things are today with the new EMV compliance, the chips that are on our credit cards, there's been a liability shift, and everything's moved from where the bank would be eating those chargebacks at the end of the day. Now they're back down to the vendor, and that's one of the reasons that the EMV chips were put into the cards. In addition to that, Apple Pay, Samsung Pay, and other gift cards, they have to get an authorization in the cloud. So if you have a retail establishment and you can't run credit cards, you're basically out of business and your revenue comes to a halt. The second one that we see as a very large area of low-hanging fruit as well are the voice over IP connections. Obviously, we're running things for voice over IP. They're running through broadband, running through a data connection. If that data connection's down, everybody in the office is unable to make phone calls. And having a backup solution there to be able to make phone calls over the LTE network is obviously a benefit, keeping the company in business and keeping them moving. The third one on the right are cloud-based applications, and what we're talking about there are really MSP-type applications. So anybody that's in an office, they go to Salesforce in the cloud. We use Salesforce, in the cloud to be able to manage our CRM. Email, now Office 365. It's very rare that you're going to find somebody that actually has an email server on-prem anymore. And to that matter, any third-party app that's out in maybe AWS, out in the cloud that people have to access to do their daily function at work. Next slide, please. These are just a couple of examples of the marketing materials that we have available for all the Telarus reps. We have a Dropbox folder set up, a marketing folder, and anybody that would like to be invited to it. These are just two. Again, we wanted to shorten the presentation today, but there's probably about 20 different marketing items up there that you guys can use, put your logo on it, and put it in front of the customer. So on the left, we think it's really the most powerful one in my eyes, is making the connection of our failover product, our failover solution to insurance. Everybody can draw a line and connect to, hey, you have auto insurance, you have flood insurance, you have home insurance, you have personal property insurance. Then you need to have insurance for your business internet. I also have a slide that has a lot of animations on it with that looks pretty cool as well that you guys can use if you'd like to. And then on the right side, we have the EMV compliance. We talked a little bit briefly a few minutes ago about the liability shift that's happened. The customers expect it. You don't expect to go into a store, give the person behind the desk the credit card, and they say, I'm sorry, I can only take cash. So it damages the business by not being able to take money when customers want to give you money. And obviously it's already a required. It's required at this point, and anybody that's still swiping cards in an establishment, they're not following the rules. So then we have a tagline, connection is the new currency, and again, there's a space for you to put your logo down here as the agent as well. Next slide, please. Now we can talk a little bit about the way that we go to market and the way that we have the retail pricing set up. So this is a CapEx model where the customer is going to pay upfront for the hardware, and then they're going to pay monthly for the plan. So if I want to point out the first two, the one on the left, the $995 and $1995, those are your basic options for a failover plan. And one of the reasons that we're able to offer that $995, the pay-as-you-go, is because we've built our own platform. Some of the differences between us and some of our competitors is that we create our own plans. We're not reselling the carrier plans and rebilling it to the end-user customer. We're actually taking in the connectivity from all four of the carriers, and we're able to build our own plans and build it through our OSS BSS. So the $995 is a pay-as-you-go plan. It's really you can think of it as a line charge. The customer pays $995 a month to keep the line alive, where it's available for them when their primary fails. So customer gets 10 meg of data, which basically only covers the overhead from the hardware device. So you can really look at this as they're not getting any data, but they pay $24.95 per gig of usage for anything above that 10 meg. Excuse me. And then we also mentioned already it's a CapEx model, and the options for hardware are the Max BR1 Mini, which is the low-entry device that would be used in bridge mode. And another thing, we could have a technical conversation offline to go a little bit deeper on this, but we're talking $299 as a bridge mode device, $549 as an edge router with regular 4G LTE, and then $699 for an edge router with LTE advanced, connectivity that's going to bring the customer that will give them speeds, 50, 60, 80 meg, where the regular LTE connection, as everybody knows here, is going to be around 10 to 15. Now, the line that we draw in the sand on that is when a customer has over 12 employees that are clicking, we ask other questions as well. Qualification is really important here, guys, to know what we're up against to figure out to make sure we put the right solution in front of them. But what we found on our side is that when a customer has 12 employees or more, we want to push them towards the LTE-A device as opposed to the regular LTE device. Now, back to the plans. $1995 a month includes 1 gig, and the customer is not charged anything above that $19.95 unless they go over that 1 gig, and there's a discount for that versus the $9.95 usage where they get billed $19.95 instead of $24.95. Everything else on the devices are the same. And then the $39.95 plan there is really the entry level for a primary use application. And a good example of that would be a kiosk in the mall, where somebody has a teenager in there working, selling watches, let's say, and they have one voice over IP phone, they have a credit card swipe machine, and maybe some light inventory transaction. So for somebody like that, the entry level 3 gig prepaid will be fine at the $39.95. We also have other plans that we do for primary access. We go as high as, we've done 500 gig plans before, but just to roll it out to you real quick before we flip to the next slide, it's 1 gig, 3 gig, 5 gig, 10 gig, 25 gig, 50 gig, 100 gig. Those are basically our standard plans that are in our system today. Not to mention that we wouldn't do a custom plan because we can build a custom plan because we own and operate our own platform. Next slide, please, Steph. Thank you. Now, we try and make it as easy as possible on the agents and give you guys the empowerment to be able to generate your own agreements and generate your own quotes for the customer. So we have something online on our website, which is basically our agent quote request. If you went to Data2Go and you scroll down the bottom left of the page, you'll see that agent quote request link. And then on the right side, this is what it's going to pull up. And we get the necessary information. It drops everything into our CRM tool, which happens to be Salesforce. And then usually within 15 or 30 minutes, we'll turn around an agreement that we send to you. You guys are the agent. We don't deal with the end user customer until you get something signed. And so we send it to you, and we ask the agent to get it signed and send it back to us. And that's the point that we engage with the customer to make sure that we have all the billing information correct, make sure that the shipping information is correct, and also from a technical perspective to get on the phone with them that when they receive the device that it's installed correctly. And I think that may be it, and I think we got through it quick, and we go to the Q&A slide that I know that Doug and Steph said we're going to hold that to the end, but I just wanted to kind of let you guys visualize that mobility@Telarus.com, and my contact information is there. And I would love nothing more than to go to that 201, 301, 401 level classes with you guys. Thank you very much for the time today.
Rob, terrific presentation. This is great information. So much here that everyone can take advantage of with their clients. Internet of Things, in my opinion, gets not the attention that it deserves in the marketplace. And as you mentioned at the very top of the presentation, expanding so rapidly with new apps, new innovations coming out every day. This is something that really needs to have a lot of attention paid to it. Rob Senatore, we really appreciate the time. We will come back to you for some Q&A here at the end of the presentation. Joining me now, however, to continue our discussion are our friends from TeraNova. Tommy Ellis, she is TeraNova's Partner Development Manager, and Natasha Coons, TeraNova's Managing Director. TeraNova designs, implements, and manages mobile and fixed technology solutions for companies of all sizes across myriad industries. TeraNova helps technology environments function seamlessly, enables machines and employees to communicate efficiently, and saves clients millions of dollars annually. Tommy, Natasha, welcome to the Telarus Tuesday call. Glad to have you both here. Tommy, Natasha, can you hear us?
I can. Hi, Doug. How are you?
There we go. Doing well. Glad to have you on the call.
Thank you so much for having us. We are so excited about this opportunity, and we love working with Telarus. Natasha might be having some audio issues, so I'm just going to jump right into our presentation. We have been around for 10+ years. As it mentioned before, I am the Partner Development Manager, and what that means is I am here to support you all in any way that I possibly can. And so that could mean creating collateral, it can mean doing client demos, really becoming an extension of your team. So my primary objective is to support the partners out there. We are a wireless expense management company, and we focus on mobility, and that could be cell phones, tablets, MiFis, jetpacks. We prefer to do all of the heavy lifting. So let me jump into our solution and kind of lay it out what we really offer from that mobility experience. And so what we do is we go in and we audit. We find savings and we don't force change. And what we mean by that is we really want there to be as little disruption as possible. So if your clients are happy with their the carrier that they're currently on, then that is fine with us. We can optimize within that carrier, and really, I mean, the best part about us is that we're 100% carrier agnostic. So really what we're trying to do is what's right by the client. Second level is the management software, and really that's auditing on a monthly basis. We have a portal. We use that portal to keep the client's inventory clean and their spend optimized. And so we ensure that they're on the correct plans, that they don't have floating devices out there that they're paying for, and that they just don't need. I mean, there's not a major carrier out there that's going to call a client and say, hey, you have about 20 to 200 devices that you shouldn't be paying for. Go ahead and disconnect them. So really that's what we are. We're that third set of eyes that can really take a look and figure out what's best for your client. We use that same portal to provide actionable data, and that can come in a couple different forms. So we send out reports, obviously. We send out executive summaries to our clients on a monthly basis, but our preference really is to jump on calls with them and really show them their data and then talk to them about either what changes we've already made or what changes we're about to make to ensure that we're delivering upon keeping their account optimized and clean. We can also design and set policies. So, we know that C-level employees are going to have different budgets, and they are going to have different policies that pertain to them, if any. And so, especially opposed to possibly entry-level employees. So we can not only help them really design what that should look like, but also implement that. The third level is help desk. So we provide a 12-hour-a-day help desk, 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. Eastern time, and we take care of all tickets. And so any moves, adds, changes, disconnects, anything that would be required of a wireless account on a daily basis, we're going to take that off of. Typically, we interact with the IT department. They're inundated with the day-to-day functions that are required of an account that's bigger in size. And so we want to make sure that their energy and time can be better spent on strategic business initiatives. So, which leads me to our ideal client. Our ideal client would be 300 lines and above, corporate liable, so the company pays the bill, versus a BYOD model, like a bring your own device. And they're typically experiencing one of two major pain points in this environment. So the two major pain points are this: their spend's out of control, they're rubber stamping their bill. The second one is, their IT department is inundated with the day-to-day tasks that are required of an account of that size. So we will set our partners up for success. We have created resources for you, which I'll get to a little bit further on. But before I do that, what I'd like to do is just walk you through a quick case study. And the case study is really just going to paint a picture of one of our current clients. So about 4.5, 5 years ago, we had a pharmaceutical company come to us. They had 1,200 lines. They definitely wanted cost savings. They wanted that monthly management, so they wanted us to go in on a monthly basis and ensure that their account was staying as clean as possible. From a wireless perspective, it gets very messy pretty quickly in terms of the carriers, whether they're launching new plans. So many different variables can contribute to that. So the monthly management is really spot on in what they need for us to kind of keep that clean environment for them. So they came to us with the 1,200 lines. We went in, we did an extensive audit. We have an expert audit team, and we have amazing tools. So that combo really delivered on really high targeted savings. You can see $564,000 we targeted them to save over the course of 12 months. We also wanted them to stay that way, and so they wanted that monthly optimization, which gives them the ability to use our portal, and then they wanted that MACD help desk. So again, we took care of all moves, adds, changes, and disconnects. So you might be asking, well, how does this look in terms of what are we charging for these services? And so I'll quickly go over that. I won't spend too much time on that. I would encourage, just as Robert had mentioned, this is a shorter, condensed version of what we can provide. And so I would reach out to Tiffany Wolf. She's amazing. She's a great partner of ours to coordinate a full-blown demo. But in this case, the way that we charge our customers, so the cost of services, are this. So that targeted savings, $564, I'm just going to break it up by month. And so they were targeted to save $47,000 a month, which is amazing. And we take a contingency of that savings for 12 months. After 12 months, that's entirely the client. So we set them up for success. They can continue to kind of reap the benefits of our work after that 12 months. And so the contingency varies. It varies on solution and services that they sign up for with us. But in this case, it was 35%. So TeraNova went in. We collected $16,450 a month. So you can see that the client really keeps the lion's share of the savings. And then we turn around and obviously we pay out a percentage to Telarus of that. And Tiffany is the lady that can talk you through all of that structure. And so that's just for the audit. The second component of this is that monthly management and the help desk, which is charged a little bit differently. It's charged on a per line basis. So it's an average of $6 a line if you're looking at 1,000 lines. We had shaved off 200 devices. Initially said that they came to us with 1,200 lines. We uncovered 200 devices that hadn't really been needed. And we do that based on, have they been used in 90 days? And so we got them down to 1,000. So they paid $6,000 a month, which included full management. So we took on that task entirely, keeping them on the right plans, ensuring that their inventory was clean, ensuring that, they didn't have to deal with those moves, the ads, adding an international feature, replacing a defective phone. I mean, whatever the case might be, their headache was now ours. They didn't have to worry about that. So that's really how the structure of the cost of services is laid out. And so it's pretty easy, and we can go into it in further detail. I would love to talk to you on a one-on-one basis. But in the meantime, let's talk about some resources that we send out to all of our partners. So the next one is qualifying questions. We have partners that aren't, their bread and butter is not typically in mobility, and that's okay. We prefer to do the heavy lifting, and so we supply you with some resources. This is just one of them. We created qualifying questions to really help you pivot into that mobility question or conversation, sorry. So I'm not going to go through all of them, but just I'll highlight the first one. So how are you currently managing your wireless spend to maximize cost efficiencies? And what we see here is that they're not. They're typically rubber stamping that bill because it just gets a little bit overwhelming. I mean, I can speak from experience. I have 7 lines on my account, and I don't even want to look at mine. So when you're looking at accounts that are 300 plus, it's a little bit daunting. And you can see that aha moment on their face. And, rest assured that we can take that on for them. So we send this out to all partners. It's a pretty great resource. And then we also have some collateral, some one-pagers that we can get over to you as well. So next steps, let's talk about the call to action. The first thing is, scheduling a more in-depth demo with me, and you can do that absolutely through the Mobility VP, Tiffany Wolf. And what we do is we would consider opportunities that within your base. So you will look at your base and think about, what clients really need us, which ones need us to really come in and save the day, and then you would just coordinate an introduction, and we would take it from there. So again, we really prefer to do the heavy lifting. You can hunt new logos while receiving that residual revenue. We keep you as involved as you want to be, and what I mean by that is we're going to CC you on every every interaction with your client. We're going to reach out to you and say, hey, this is the next step. We'll send you possibly the statement of work first. You can review, give us feedback. we are 100% open to coaching. We know that you know your clients better than us, and so we definitely encourage that. But when it comes to all of the ins and outs, we're going to take that over. And again, you can be as involved as you need to be. So if you want to be on our monthly optimization calls, we absolutely welcome you to do that. And our last piece, our last slide, and I went through this quickly because I wanted to make sure I covered it all, is just your resources within TeraNova. So obviously first level of defense is Tiffany, and then you have myself, so I am that partner development manager, and you can email me, call me, I'm 100% accessible. And then we have Natasha. She is our managing director, and I'm going to have her pop in and say a quick hello. I think she is available. Hopefully I didn't put her on the spot.
Tommy, can you hear me now?
I can.
Okay, excellent. Yeah, well, I'm sorry earlier I couldn't, I guess nobody could hear me. So, but thanks, Tommy, for a moment just to say hello to our wonderful partners here at Telarus. I'm the managing director, so it's my responsibility to ensure that our strategic alliance with Telarus is very healthy, and you as a partner get all the resources that we can bring to the table to make you successful. Just a tiny bit of a quick background. We started 11 years ago, and we started with the focus on delivering managed mobility solutions that could drive residual revenue. And we were very successful, and so we turned around and became completely channel-focused. And so now we are building really an army to focus just on the channel to help you be successful. But with that, I've also grown the company by bootstrapping it, and so we understand very uniquely what it takes. We understand the grit, the resiliency that you have. You're an entrepreneur. You need resources. Sometimes you can't pay for them right away, but you need to get out there and sell, sell, sell. We understand all of that. We've been there. I've been there, and my entire team lives and breathes channel. We get you. So with that, Tommy came from a background with 10 years at Verizon Wireless, and then another decade in corporate sales training. And so she is very qualified to help you, and also that just runs through her DNA. She is a trainer by nature, and she wants to help. So resources, like she said, qualifying questions, collateral, getting in the trenches, cold calling with you. And then behind that, we have a whole team of specialists. So just want to let all the partners know that we are here for you, and we're looking forward to making you very successful. With that, Tommy, I'll send it back to you.
Thanks so much, Natasha. And that's our time. So I will hand it back. I appreciate all of you jumping on the call. It's definitely a pleasure, and we're so excited to be included in the Telarus family.
Tommy and Natasha, thank you very much for your presentation and all of that information this morning. That's Tommy Ellis, TeraNova's Partner Development Manager, and Natasha, welcome to the call there as well, TeraNova's Managing Director. We were also joined previously by Rob Senator. He'll be back with us here for Q&A. It is time to open things up for your questions and comments. We have a number that have come in on the chat line and a few more that may yet pop through. But Tommy and Natasha, while I've got you here, let me just start with you for a second. Whenever I see a $500,000 number pop up on a screen, I'm very intrigued, and I think most of our partners are. It's almost astounding when you think about it that this many years along in doing this kind of work, that telecom expense management can still yield those kind of savings for clients. That's an attention getter.
Absolutely. And I think, and I can go and Tommy, please feel free to chirp in, but we actually can pay it for ourselves, so that's the goal. When we find savings like that, the ROI is immediate and it's fast because it's wireless, and then we basically pay for ourselves. So the client IT looks like a hero because now they can report to CFOs and so on and so forth. We saved this many dollars, and guess what else? This company also basically paid for themselves, and now we can focus on more strategic initiatives. So it's a beautiful thing. And then the partners get paid.
Well, let's talk about your ideal client again for a second. You talked about the ideal customer probably has 300 or more lines and one of two pain points, either an out-of-control spend or an inundated IT department or both, I'm guessing. How many clients really fall into those categories? Is that something that our partners are going to come across frequently? And is there opportunity for even larger clients or in some cases smaller ones as well?
I would say...
Go ahead, Tommy.
Oh, sorry. Yeah.
Go ahead, Tommy.
It really depends on, the partner's base. So we work with multiple different types of partners, and some of them focus on small, medium business, and some of them focus on enterprise. There's absolutely so much opportunity out there. We definitely have had smaller clients where they want us to go in and do the audit and get out, and that makes sense. In terms of the management, typically of sizes like accounts that are smaller than the 300, it's still somewhat manageable. So would we entertain smaller clients? Absolutely. I am 100%, as I mentioned before, available. And I just encourage the partner to call me up, and we'll talk a little bit more about the specific needs of their exact client, really figure out, what is it? Is it the spend that's out of control, and we can, get in and get out and kind of control that for them? Or, for example, we had a smaller client a few months ago, and they were around the 150 line mark. And it was both. They had their poor HR person that was controlling everything. She was in charge of the wireless account on top of everything that rolls up to human resources. And so they needed us. They needed us to help them with spend, and they needed us to manage. So we are absolutely open to entertaining all sizes. It just, what we find is that it makes a lot more sense if it's 300 and above. And, of course, it needs to be corporate liable.
Makes good sense. With regard to the help desk and the management software portion of this, let's assume you've got a situation where a Telarus partner is already taking care of the cost containment issues. They're involved in telecom expense management and so forth, so maybe that portion of the service isn't needed, but could they still bring you an opportunity for the management or help desk functions?
Absolutely, of course. So yeah, all of our solution, we can really customize it to each and every client. We absolutely have had clients that are like, hey, we just want you to get in an audit, or we've had the flip side. They just want our 12-hour-a-day help desk. So really, we have three major components of our solution, which is the audit, the monthly management, and then the help desk. Whatever their pain point is, we can fix it.
Great information. Rob Senator from Data2Go Wireless. Let me bring you back in here for a second. Thank you as well for your presentation this morning. I find it fascinating that you have focused entirely on the IoT market, the machine-to-machine market. This is really a data play for Data2Go Wireless. Talk a little bit, if you would, about the size of that market and how to best present the services from Data2Go Wireless to our partners' customers.
Great. Thank you. So the first thing I'll say, Doug, is that, and to everybody on the call, this is a horizontal play where there's a lot of technology that's out there that's really tied to a vertical. The reason we put this together is to be that horizontal play. So no matter what vertical market your customer is in, if we're thinking hard enough and we know enough about the customer, we can absolutely make a connection between the two. And as far as how large the market is, we're just scratching the surface right now. We have some, IDC, Cisco, all the big boys are saying that, there's going to be 50 billion devices that are going to be connected in the next several years. So, and I mentioned earlier in the call that there are new ideas that people are coming up in their garages that are actually ending up being good ideas, and there are unicorns that are coming out of garages, every day right now. So there's so much there's so much in front of us right now. It's a matter of being able to focus and being able to make that connection between your customer's needs and what we're able to provide.
So when we talk about Internet of Things, as I mentioned earlier, I don't think this gets nearly enough attention in our marketplace right now, expanding the way that it is. Data2Go Wireless offers, of course, secure and scalable solutions for IoT. Talk just a little bit, if you will, about the importance of security when it comes to Internet of Things and the new applications that are being developed for customers. I think a lot of partners shy away from it because of the security concerns.
You know, it's funny that you're saying that, Doug, because what we're finding is that, you know, running things through a wireless network a lot of times is higher level of security than running things over a wireline network. That being said, what we've done on our side is we give the customer a couple of different options. We have public traffic where it stays on the carrier, and then we have privatized traffic that actually never touches the public internet. So if security is a true concern of the customer, we have options for that as well. In addition to the network security, or I should say the security that runs through the network through the WAN side, it's also a lot of hardware functionality that we're very familiar with to be able to lock down devices and provide additional security for the customer.
Let's talk just a little bit about EMV compliance. It was a huge part of your presentation, and this is something that touches all of us nearly every day. I'm guessing there are many on this call, maybe it's just me, but I'm guessing there are many who don't even know what EMV stands for. I was surprised some time back to learn that it means Europay, MasterCard, and Visa. I thought it was something much more technical than that. That's really what it is. And it's simply the standard for these cards that use the computer chips to authenticate and secure these transactions. And that touches all of us, and it touches nearly all of our clients as they're in the business, of course, to take various payment options. Talk just a little bit about how this has developed and why it's such an important part of Data2Go Wireless's offering.
Well, I can actually, I can kind of back this up with some numbers. I remember about a year ago, I read something that the average American company has 14 hours of internet downtime per year, and that was quantified to a revenue number of $26.5 billion. Now, what we're talking about there with the $26.5 billion is simply loss of revenue, which means that somebody that owns a store was not able to collect money from a customer on their credit card. Now, the more staggering side of that, the true loss, that's only 22% of the actual number. The other 78% is loss of productivity from your employees that are just sitting on their hands and not being able to access the internet for their daily functions. So the loss is huge, and as I said before, it's a horizontal play and it touches everybody. I mean, what we're talking about, if we wanted to stay on the EMV compliance side or just the EMV side in general, it's tied to retail. And retail crosses many boundaries as well, which is, I would call, a horizontal play as well, because it doesn't matter what kind of business you are. If you're in a business in the retail space, you need to be able to run credit cards. Hope I answered the question there, Doug.
You did. Extremely important. Extremely important. Tommy and Natasha, let me come back to you for just a second. I want to talk a little bit more about your help desk offering at TeraNova. Now, when customers take advantage of this service, are they dealing with just help for hardware issues, or does this involve carrier issues as well? What does the help desk cover? What specifically does it offer?
Sure, I can take this. This is Natasha. So yeah, they also cover technical issues. So you know, there's different kinds of hardware that we manage. It could be anything from a phone to a tablet to a modem, even a router, like a cellular router. So we do handle hardware issues and troubleshooting as it relates to the SIM or the account level, and all the way to reporting questions about plans. So the entire help desk are trained professional or wireless professionals, and they were recruited from carriers. So they do have a fairly wide spectrum of anywhere from, you know, spend to all the way to the technical aspects that they're trained on.
And let's talk a little bit about security issues as well. What sort of offerings are available for customers that are concerned about security as they bring these myriad of devices into the network, and what sort of ongoing planning should they be doing to take a look at future needs?
Sure. So in regards to, you know, what a lot of people call MDM, mobile device management, we are also MDM agnostic, just like we are carrier agnostic. So the best approach is to let us help you qualify the client in regards to their specific needs. Some clients may say, you know, I do have a lot of, you know, BYOD, these are like non-corporate build devices, and I want to be able to wipe them remotely, but without taking all the, you know, somebody's kids' photos. So that could be one aspect. Others, it could be, I just want to make sure I want to wipe the whole phone or just corporate email. Or some people might say, I want to control the firmware so I can push out certain applications across my entire enterprise. So we need to get into the specifics of what they're looking for, and then we can put together a scope based on the big players out there, and there's not that many. There's AirWatch, Mobile Iron, IBM MOS 360, and just a few others. So it just comes down to really understanding what they need, mapping it to the right vendor. We can bring those to the table as well. On the help desk side, Doug, we are able to layer that in. So if for our MDM clients, we can provide a level 1 help desk where we are able to field some of the MDM support.
Tommy, is there any kind of a minimum spend requirement that is involved for a partner's client to take advantage of TeraNova services?
Sure. I mean, typically we really go by line level on the wireless side. And so, it's going to vary a little bit based on services. So we really just sit at that 300 line level, and typically 3,000 MRC monthly. But again, we're open to entertain all solutions and requirements based on the client.
Rob Senator from Data2Go Wireless, let me come back to you for just a second. In terms of your offerings, I'm assuming this is essentially a nationwide footprint, services available anywhere?
Yes, I have the questions up too. I was waiting to get to that point of it. Thank you, Doug. Yes, actually, wherever the 4 carriers, the 4 Tier 1 carriers are in the U.S., we are. So we actually had one of our customers tag us as the 5th carrier. So if there is any access for any of the carriers anywhere in the U.S., if it's possible, we have it.
The 5th carrier. Now, that sounds like a Bruce Willis movie or something. The 5th carrier. I like that. That's not a bad nickname. Let's talk about those carrier plans. The question came up. I'm sure you saw it as well. So for the carrier plans, are you essentially procuring a wholesale type of arrangement, or is this a true MVNO?
Okay. I think that Trevin's question was more around how we're buying it from the carriers, I believe. And the answer to that is it's true wholesale, that we're buying directly from the carriers. We do not buy from MVNOs. As a matter of fact, we're looked at as an MVNE, so we're an enabler of other MVNOs. Enabler. Yes. So there's 2 different programs that we have. We have programs that are tied to the agency channel, which is really our direct channel because we're billing the customer. And then there are other things that are available that we talk to for other service providers that is more on the us acting as an MVNE to the service provider becoming an MVNO.
At the top of the call, Rob, you mentioned that this was really the 101 level class, business failover solutions, and the importance of addressing these needs that we discussed today. But you hinted also that there's the 201, the 301, the 401. Talk briefly, if you would, about what those advanced offerings are and how our partners can find out more about them.
Yes, absolutely. Well, I'll answer it backwards. It's obviously just feel free to reach out at any time, whether it's through mobility@Telarus.com or to me directly. But those 201, 301, and 401 level classes are more tied to the ideas of primary use cases, at making sure that we're asking the right questions, because keep in mind, guys, that this is a metered service. This is very different from what the customers are used to with a primary circuit, which is basically an all-you-can-eat buffet, if I can use that analogy, versus a metered service. So in order to choose the correct plan on a primary use, we want to make sure that we know what applications the customers are using, how many people are in the office, where their location is, all those other questions that are really important to make sure that we're putting something in front of the customer that is going to work for them, and B, is not going to blow up in all of our faces, because customers get surprised sometimes. We've seen it happen, and we've learned the hard way that somebody gets a $2,000 bill and they're very upset about that. So that's one thing, making sure we're asking the right questions tied to the primary use cases. The higher end level classes, if you will, are more tied to WAN optimization and SD-WAN. So now we're talking about optimizing a customer's WAN by utilizing some services on the wireless and some services on the wireline, whether it's multiple wireline and multiple wireless. There are options for that as well. We're a distributor for Peplink, and we have access to all of the products that we buy from Hong Kong, and there are devices that go up as high as four mobile radios devices within one box. So we actually have things that are called an HD4. It has 4 cellular radios where the customer, we could put one on each one of the carriers to give them the ultimate in redundancy. Then there's also other devices that are made, max transits, that are made for emergency vehicles like ambulances and police vehicles that have dual radio devices. So there are creative things that we can do depending on the customer's want, need, and budget to be able to put the best solution together for them.
Rob, it's a powerful offering. Our partners will definitely want to find out more about Data2Go Wireless and what you can do for them. Appreciate the information on the call today, and your contact information here in our slides. We'll, of course, make that available to all of our partners. And thanks, Rob. Powerful presentation. Tommy and Natasha, I wanted to come back to you for just one more second here at the end of the call and talk again about the importance of not only the cost savings but the other services that are provided to partners. Really what we're talking about here is outsourcing those functions to TeraNova, which can save our partners' clients not only a lot of money, but also the hassle of trying to manage day-to-day all of those things that take away from an IT department's time. We've talked about a case study today. You've mentioned many of the benefits. Sum it all up for us. Where is the real benefit for partners, and where should they be looking for and asking about these opportunities?
Yeah,
great question. Oh, go ahead, Tommy. We both want to help. Go ahead, Tommy. Take it.
I mean, I would say look for the opportunities with every client that they have, because typically, you know, it's so much revenue being left on the table. There's an opportunity with most of the current clients that they have, especially if their focus is mid-market to enterprise. I mean, it's there. Just the overall, if I had to put it all in a bow, just the benefit is really they don't really have to do any of, you know, the work. We're going to do all the heavy lifting, and then, you know, that just trickles down to the client in terms of it's not just the hard savings that we're finding for the client, but it's also just the labor that goes into managing accounts of that size. I mean, there's so many different benefits for the client. And again, I mean, the partner themselves, I mean, we are an extension of your team. I can work as your company and, you know, really do some of those cold calls and help identify and discover with your clients. And so you don't really, I mean, the benefit is you don't have to worry about it. That's what we're there for. We're experts. I mean, as Natasha mentioned before, we all came from the carriers, the major carriers, so we're really good at what we do, and we try to really be the easiest in the industry to work with.
Natasha, last word?
Sure. I would say that, you know, we come in and we clean it up, but if we don't stay in, it gets messy very fast in the wireless world. And so not only are we able to show those hard savings right off the bat with the audit, but there is an element called cost avoidance, and we calculate that on a monthly basis, and we calculate it to be around 11 to 14% ongoing trimming and savings. So that's important too, right? I mean, one bad international roaming incident could cost a client thousands of dollars. So I think that's important. There's a cost avoidance strategy. And then also, just as Tommy said, we're an extension of the partner team to go and deliver these value solutions. We're also an extension of the customer's IT team. So we become a valuable, really their wireless arm, and that enables and frees them up to focus on more strategic initiatives while we do the plumbing, because that's really what we're doing. I mean, we're in there handling moves, has changes, break fix, technical, issues, international plan changes. I mean, we're doing it fast. We've got butts in seats. We have SLAs. Whereas from an IT team perspective, how do you balance, I've got an entire location down. And then I've got, one truck driver who has to have an overnighted device because he or she cannot hit the road tomorrow, and that affects revenue. I mean, how do you balance these things? And for us, a hard down is that one truck driver that needs a phone the next day so they can work and talk to dispatch. So I think some of those elements, Doug, to net it out, it's the hard savings, it's the soft costs, and allowing the clients, to focus on their core business.
I think that says it all. Tiffany, Natasha and Tommy, thank you very much for the information today. TeraNova, somebody definitely need to get to know. And Data2Go Wireless, Rob Senatora, can't thank you enough for the information and the powerful information that we had on today's call. That will about do it for today's event. My thanks to all of our presenters and to each of you for your questions and comments on our chat line. One quick reminder, we do want to have you join us Thursday morning, 11 a.m. Eastern, for the special YipTel training. We hope you'll join us for that. Thanks for joining us on our Tuesday call. We will be back here again next week, same time. We'll introduce you to Tiffany Wolf. We'll have more discussions on mobility and the place this has in our market. It's something you'll want to get to know more about. I'm Doug Miller, the voice of Telarus. Have a great selling week, everyone.